What's up, everybody? Fuck.
Is it not in?
I think the mic not be working. If the mic's working, drop a 1 in the chat.
Yeah, drop a... Oh, wait, no, I can just check. I got this thing. 1 in the chat.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Alright. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to episode 2 of the Basement Boys podcast. Obviously, as you can see, we're missing our co-host today.
We lost 2 soldiers.
Two soldiers.
2 good men. Corona. They died.
Zach has coronavirus, and the other fill-in host, who was going to be Chase from last week's episode, he is afraid of getting coronavirus.
Yes,
So,
he understands the damage that the coronavirus does to his campaign. So, he's dropped out. That's what I've been told.
So I'm here with Liam today. We're going to go over some KCBL stuff. If you don't know what the KCBL is, we're going to get into that. And then we're going to talk a little football, everyone's favorite segment, flag or no flag. And then we have a new segment to go over today. So
yeah, should be fun.
Yeah.
First of all, let me fix your podcast. All right. That, you drew on it with Sharpie 5 minutes ago in front of me. The date, you drew it in Sharpie.
I did.
All right. Sugar lemon zest candle. I actually kind of like that one.
It's a nice touch. It's a nice touch.
It is so cold down here. I'm gonna fix your lights though. Let's get some Thunder Warriors colors up in here. Hey, can I get a Badger suck chain in the chat? Badger suck. I want to see Badger suck in that, right, Landon? You know, cause like y'all are what, like 1-4? You won what, 1 game? Y'all won 1 game this year?
We're the reigning coach.
Or 2 games. 2 games. 1 or 2 games.
Refs suck.
Refs suck. Hey, there's no refs.
Jonah Cart. That's the ref.
No, we're not talking about the KCFL.
Alright, so let's get right into it.
Yeah.
So, can you explain for the people at home what the KCFL or the KCBL is?
We're talking about the KCFL now?
KCBL.
Wow. Didn't even get the name. Drug me out here to this dump of a town. Yeah, the KCBL it's, as we say on the page, it's Charleston's student-run basketball league. It's a free community league. We play just about every weekend. I'll get into that in a sec. At Horseman in Canal City, we've got currently 8 teams and around 70 players, including coaches, and I think that the main thing that we are trying to accomplish is to give a free outlet for kids to expend some of their energy in a productive way, in a way that fosters community, in a way that build something good, because there's a lot worse ways you could be spending your time at 10 o'clock on a Saturday.
Yeah, just keeping kids off the street, building relationships.
I don't know if I said keeping kids off the street.
Well, building relationships.
We're keeping Jonah off the street. But yeah, it started as, we could start from the beginning. Oh, God. Thank you, Tate. Thanks, Coach. I see you, Coach. I see you. Best coach in the league. Way better than G Money. He was awful. He got fired after 1 game.
Terrible.
He didn't show up. He showed up to 1 practice with 3 people.
Anyways.
Yeah, so the KCBL, Canal City Basketball League, is, no, Alex, you're just a snake. The reason that it started was, it was born out of the Football League, which, I don't know if you want me to go back that far, but that basically...
We have plenty of time.
The whole thing started very organically. There wasn't some big plan where I sat down and was like, I want to make a basketball league, and we're going to do this, this, and this, and it's going to be these people. It very much just kind of came out of a need that was there to do something, to have something like this, because, I've grown up my whole life playing backyard sports in Canal City. The amount of times that I had to send out a text getting people to come play football in some neighbor's backyard who I don't even know their names. And we were going to do that one day. It was a few years ago. I could pull up the date, but
it was
2018.
Summer.
2018. So this started about 3 years ago. We saw a group of kids that we knew. Future mayor was there, Chase. And we were like, you know what? Funny, it started. I just happened to take a different route to get to a friend's house that day, and I passed them, and I was like, "Hey, why don't we go challenge those guys to a game?" And so we did, and we won because we're the best. And so from there, it became we made an Instagram page for our team, called ourselves the Thunder Warriors, and we didn't have a plan to play regular games or post it. We knew we wanted to rematch them, and we knew we wanted to make a post saying that we cut Mason.
Yeah.
Because he got torched by a little kid named Bryson Slack, who I'm not super fond of. He got torched by him, so we cut him. We signed him back to a 10-day, and then he mossed Austin for a pig and got MVP.
Austin,
it's a great time.
Yeah, that's cut off. I can't.
So what really took off was when we had people who found our page and messaged us and said, "Hey, we want to make a team too." And
what was the max teams we ended up getting in the KCFL? Around 6?
We had around 6 teams. In the early days, it was very unorganized. It was play whoever you want. We just kind of went with it as we went along. And since the start, there was this idea that floated around that what if we got this same group of kids together and played basketball? And what was unique about basketball is that it was a lot easier to make organized. It was a lot easier to make structured because it's a much simpler game. And I decided that I wanted to take the reins on the project for a number of reasons. Number one, I didn't want to coach. I didn't want a team. I didn't want to make the responsibilities of a team. Number two, I have experience in trying to run and coordinate projects and stuff, and I find that I'm decent at trying to get people to work together and come together for a cause. You know, the way that I'm running this isn't this sort of like authoritarian, I'm telling you what to do, I'm telling you what to do. It's very much the people, the coaches and the players and the teams do what's expected of them because they respect the idea of the league. That if they go along with this thing will stay together.
Yeah.
And the number one goal has just been to have fun. Even when you're getting blown out, every kid there is having fun. Even if it doesn't look like it.
Yeah.
Even if they're throwing hands with each other.
That's a sub to Chase Stringer and Freak Show Aaron Cart.
It's a sub to Chase. He's done it a couple times. He had his players do it last year to each other, which I wasn't there for. But
I think I remember that game.
Yeah, so the actual league started last January, so we're coming up on our 1-year anniversary.
Yeah.
I have nothing special planned.
But
it was
basically the KCBL started as
the KCFL.
As the KCFL, just
basketball.
I think it was me, you, Sam, and all them.
Yeah.
And then Braden, Chase, and all them. I think we just played basketball. It was in January. I think
it was. We hopped on a Skype call. I think it was a Skype call. And I was like, look, basically, okay, here's what's gonna happen. We're gonna go ahead and try this. We're gonna draft because the football teams aren't really fair, and I'm gonna say you can draft anybody in the football. If they've played football, you can draft them, and that's how it started. So last year was mostly a success. We didn't get to play the championship game, which is the only thing I regret. That's the only thing I regret. I think.
Who do you think would win the game?
That is a really good question. I had at the time the Largies winning. Part of that is it was my team, but I also just think that they're really talented and they fit together well.
Yeah.
However, the Armadillos were coming into that hot. They were red hot.
They had also picked up a lot of good players late, which I think
they had.
Their record was not representative.
No, they lost a lot of close games. But I do think that even though the records are similar, one thing that I've said from the start is that this year, any team can win any game. The parity this year is great.
Yeah.
Last year was a smaller league, 6 teams, very much open to look, we don't have a plan here. We're going to figure out what the best way forward for this league is.
Yeah.
And I think we found that, and it let us expand into season 2.
Which was much more of a group effort. It's a lot more people.
Oh my God.
2 more teams. We have, instead of playing outside this year, we're inside every weekend in an actual gym
Mm-hmm.
And
I guess is this the part where I just shout out a ton of people because there's no chance I could do this by myself.
Yeah.
Last year I had a sort of council of people that we called ourselves the council, where I was like, look, you guys are the ones I'm bouncing decisions off of because we're making this up as we go. We are figuring out. The first season was very much about figuring out, does this work? And I'd say the biggest challenge for something like this is, we have a 10-game season that's going to stretch a couple months.
Yeah.
Especially when we're playing outside because we're totally dependent on the weather.
Yeah. That was one thing that was really troublesome about last year was especially like mid-February.
Yes.
That was around when the playoffs were starting.
There was a very real chance that the playoffs didn't happen.
Yeah.
That was the biggest challenge, was keeping the hype alive. And we found a couple ways to do that. I think the All-Star game helped. That was a great idea.
I didn't get to come to that. I was out of town.
That was a really good idea. I had a couple people pitch that to me, and it was a really good idea. It worked. I think that generated
a lot of hype and people wanting to come out and play for the next season.
Yeah. So we ended up having two teams that were 2 games short, and we just pushed into the playoffs. We're like, look, let's get people in the playoffs. Let's get people in the gym.
Yeah.
Which, to this day, those games in the gym I still don't think we've reached a level of energy in a building.
I think this year's playoffs will be.
This year's playoffs, I'm telling you, will be an event to go to. Like, even if you're not following this, if you're not doing anything, if you're not in this world, that's still an event you want to go to. The playoffs this year are going to be hype. I mean, last year we were having issues of, man, are we going to have enough, can we get to a 10-game season? And now I've had half the coaches in the league come up to me and said, hey, can we extend the season? So season 2, everything's just been bigger, it's been better, it's been more structured. The teams, I think, are more even. The coaches are more bigger personalipersoonalities.
And like Liam said, we could not do this without help. Like Larry Slack is a godsend.
The number one person I'd have to thank is Larry Slack, Braden's dad, who was almost filled in on this podcast. We didn't make it.
Yeah.
He's been the one who's gotten us the gym. He's been so great. He's been so helpful. He's been so just willing to let us use this gym. And it's honestly, without him, this season wouldn't have happened. Because especially now as the weather turns, we'd be looking at we'd be looking at the season taking half a year.
Yeah. Which would make less people want to really be involved in it. Which I think the gym being I think that's a huge component of people wanting to come out and play.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
why we have so many more players.
Much fun. And I mean, the thing is, people in the league, for the most part, know other people in the league. Like, that's one thing. That's what was so great about this year compared to last year is we got so many more people to sign up because the amount of DMs I get of people trying to join the league it's a lot more than you think.
People still ask me at school,
can I get
on your team? And I'm like, well, I'll send you the commissioner's Instagram.
And it's so the fact that we were able to do a sign up in the draft, which if there's one thing I regret from this year, it's that we didn't save the video of the draft because I love that draft.
Yeah.
I thought it was so much fun.
That was
the energy to get I didn't think people were going to show out.
I did not expect.
We had a crowd in this back room in Quantum. We went in there. We went into your dad's sports facility. We got one of the rooms. Got our table up. Got our chairs. Our table. You can see it on the page if you go to @the.kcbl on Instagram. That's where you're going to find all the information about the league. Everything's posted there, which there's some bad news that's going to be posted later.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was awesome. The energy was great. It's something that's really unique.
Yeah.
And it's something that has been born out of, it's something that kids in the community, everyone, even if you just showed up and played, you should be really proud of.
Yeah.
I guess the other person who's helped me a ton is Sam King. He's helped a ton with the online elements of it.
With the streaming
streaming brings a whole new level to it. I've been telling him forever to try and get a scoreboard up, and I never thought he'd do it. And it looks great.
It does. It looks amazing.
Thomas Switzer on commentary has been hilarious.
And Jack's been great.
Nick, I got complaints about what Nick said. I can tell you after what he said, if you want to go to the game and find it, I have gotten people's parents who tune in to watch their kids play and listen to Nick. They're like, this commentator is hilarious, but that one needs to watch his mouth. I can tell you after what he said. I'm not going to say it on here. Thomas is hilarious on there. But yeah, Sam does that. He does the stats website, which has also been incredible in terms of like getting people ready for All-Stars, getting people ready for MVP voting. And let's see,
and before my team is the Miners, and before last season he was on my team. He did a great job with the Instagram page management. Mm-hmm. He just has, he just has a knack for anything online. Yeah,
which actually is going to get into an award. There is going to be an award this year for best Instagram page, and I think there's a pretty clear front runner. But if you're coaches who are willing to put in the work there to drive more attention into the league, that's a huge thing. That's a huge help. To people who stepped up, we're looking to expand, and Austin Conaway, who was on last week, he stepped up and got a team, and Devon Fawcett, Drippy Devon on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Who's just another personality who's great to add. His team is fun. They're dynamic. They helped a ton. We're looking to expand, add a few more people. We're looking to maybe get a Twitter page and or a TikTok page up. So we're looking to get those up. I'm talking with people. I'm going to start talking to people who can run that because I'm swamped with the Instagram. But yeah, that's basically what it is. It's a basketball league. We post if you want to play, we'll post your highlights online.
If you're in the Charleston, West Virginia area, just message him at, what's your Instagram?
At LBRisk427. Right. DM me there or on the KCBL page. That's most likely going to be where you're going to catch me, where you're going to get a response back. Yeah. The signups are closed this season, but there are a few teams who have some spots that get moved around. I know the Armadillos have a spot open.
Yeah.
Because
do the Carts or do they just...
The Carts, I don't think do. The Rockstars have a spot open. And the Wildcats just filled their spot.
Yeah.
So, the plan is to do not a summer league, but a summer tournament.
Yeah. And we
So that is something to look out for. If you didn't play this year and you want to play next year, get in contact. I can get your name into the pool for the tournament.
It was a few years ago. It was a 2v2s tournament in the summer. Who organized that? And I think that
was Austin's. That was Austin's. I thought that was Austin. I was meant to plan that, but I was out.
I feel like that kind of spurred a.
Yes, that was great.
A want for like a
I've taken a lot of inspiration from Austin.
Yeah.
I really have. With the Instagram page, his pages are great. I think Braden makes a lot of the graphics. But
Braden makes a lot of
still
graphics,
the way he runs it, I've definitely taken inspiration from.
Yeah.
The interviews, when he did his football interviews, I loved those. Those were great. Yeah. He had a really good way of asking good questions and getting them condensed down.
Yeah. I feel
so
like...
yeah, this is very much a group effort, and it's getting people. I think one thing I mentioned that this started January last year, and the reason that it started then more than any other time was the pandemic. I mean, I know that a lot of people felt this way, but me personally, I was at least mentally not, like, I wasn't in a great spot. I felt very, I see Austin. I wasn't in a great, like, place. I was kind of, down a lot. I was kind of thinking highly of myself just because like you're stuck by yourself. Yeah. And so
I feel like a lot of people felt like that, which is another great reason for.
So to give people an outlet like this to go to instead is something that, as I said, if your name's on that list of people that I mentioned who were able to make this possible, you should be really, really proud of it because we've given people an outlet. That they might not have. So yeah. So to sum it up, that's what the league is. It's something I haven't seen anywhere else.
Yeah. So continuing with the KCBL, we're going to talk about some all-star candidates. And some.
This is the part y'all been waiting for. All right, so all-star game. First of all, I want to say one thing, which is that I've already told the coaches this, but this weekend's games, we had 3 games planned. There are 5 active cases in the league, potentially more waiting on tests.
Yeah.
Everyone was really on top of each other last week. There wasn't any spacing, and so I've just made the decision that games this week are canceled. We need to have time. We need to see who's caught it. We had a coach who had it. We had 3 people on a team catch it.
Possibly 2 coaches.
Possibly 2. I think, and we had another player who's tested positive and put his team in quarantine. So we want to slow down. We want to stop, see who has it, and spend this week getting ready for our All-Star weekend.
John Cena says it's all Jonah's fault.
I don't know who you are, but yeah, you're right. Yeah, no, you're right. So I don't like the Cart brothers
At all? Just them in general?
Yeah. No, they're great. They're great.
Yeah.
They're legends in the league. They really are. They add so much to it, just their personalities and being in it, and it's really good. They've had a team twice now, and both times it's been a total success. I have never had any trouble getting those two people to get games together and stuff, and it's great. Gives Chase a rival.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna spend this week, instead of playing, we're gonna spend this week getting ready for our All-Star game. It's gonna be the same format as last year. We're gonna have a game. We're also gonna have the 3-point shooting contest. And something that we wanted to do last year but we couldn't do is we're going to have the coaches game.
Yeah.
44,
I'm really looking forward to that this year.
That should be fun. The teams will be announced soon. It should be really fun. And yeah, so.
Are we going to do Pro Bowl style voting, like fan votes for All-Stars?
We are. Same thing as last year. It does tell me where the votes come from, so don't try to vote twice. This dude, no. Last year, I was scrolling through, and it gives you like the address of where it comes from, not like your home address, but and I kept seeing the same number pop up, and I'm like, what? Somebody's been voting a couple times, but the ballots were different. So I thought it was a bug or something.
Yeah.
And then finally, it started to click as I started to scroll down. They were all different. Like maybe it'd have Greg for MVP. This one would have Sam. Yeah. Maybe one would have Logan for Depoy. This one would have Leroy. And then I check it. Every single one of these fraudulent posts said Coach of the Year, Landon Wood. We're sitting in an Xbox party, and I'm like, "Hey, Landon, why don't you submit one? Why don't you submit one more?" And he submits it. Yep. Guess what address it is?
The same one.
Yeah. So don't try that because I can tell. But yeah, I spent this week getting the coaches to send me their candidates, and I filled in anyone else who I felt got left off. So we have now about 26 candidates.
We're going to try to narrow it down to like 18,
from these
right?
26, the top 16 will make the All-Star game. Everyone else who doesn't make it will be a replacement because some players won't be able to make it.
Yeah.
So this is the part that I've been teasing, and I don't know, do you want to get into that?
Sure.
Okay.
After this, we'll do team rankings and player rankings.
Yeah, and then we'll leave this behind and talk about the bigger worlds.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So, candidates by team.
Should we start with...
Who do you want to start with?
Worst to best. Worst to best teams.
We can do by record.
By record.
Okay, sure. So, starting with the minors. So, just to be clear, if you're on this, you're a candidate for the All-Star game, you go into the voting. If you're in the top 16, you make the game. If you're not, you're a replacement in case one of these guys can't show up for whatever reason. Yeah. Okay? From the minors, we have Shane Hancock.
Shane Hancock.
Give it up for Shane Hancock. We have Jalen Sims. Very good.
One of my defensive player of the year candidates.
My God. Look at how many people are in the chat. Do you think a single one of them asked? Trent Tiggle. Give it up for Trent Tiggle. Next lowest record. Crap, is it us? Chipmunks. Clemente Twyman.
Clemente. You gonna clap after everyone?
I am. Next up for the Chipmunks is Hayden Hatfield.
Bit of a loose cannon.
Of a loose cannon. He's absolutely a loose cannon. But you know what? On his day, he's hard to guard.
Yeah. He's a shifty guy.
David was on here, but he's only played a game.
Yeah.
So. Next up, crap, we're the next lowest record, aren't we? Large mouths. I got a couple candidates from Coach Kiefer. Sam King.
I think that's a given.
Sam King.
Their leading scorer, MVP candidate last year. All around, pretty good basketball player, as much as I hate to say it.
As much as he didn't want to be on your team.
Yeah.
Jack Bland, recently moved from the Wildcats. He's Kime and made his name.
Yeah. Ha.
Thank you. Angelo Brown. Angelo Brown.
Not really any shockers yet.
And,
I feel like all these are pretty...
Oh, just you wait.
Oh, boy.
We've got a shocker
We've
here.
got a shocker?
Carson Stanley.
Carson Stanley.
Carson Stanley has made the short list. Next up comes the West Side Wildcats. Son of the great Larry Slack. Let's hear it for... No, he's played twice. Let's hear it for the great Braden Slack.
Braden Slack.
Braden Slack. Give it up for Braden Slack. Or don't. Blake Adams.
Blake Adams.
Blake Adams.
What were they calling him? Green Giant?
Green Giant. No, Andre the Giant.
Andre the Giant.
Andre the Giant.
Commentators
Maybe we should rank our
Andre
favorite nicknames. My favorite's from commentator Switzer. My favorite's still calling Zion Murray Lil Nas X.
I think that's a good
Or
one.
EP Funk Ops.
Yeah.
Nah, Funk Ops is the best. Or Jeffrey Dahmer because he got pressed.
Yeah.
Adam Hamrick.
Adam
Hamrick has made the short list.
He's a deceptively good basketball player.
He's better than he looks.
Yeah.
He's good. He's a solid player. Next up
Zach
is...
says, for the record, I didn't put Carson.
Yeah, no. I know you didn't.
He did.
Carson paid me.
Oh.
No, he didn't. He didn't. No, he put me, but I'm not good enough. I've averaged 4 points, so I've switched myself out for Carson. Who's next? I believe that the Rockstars are next.
Rockstars.
So
I was not expecting them to be that good this year.
Yeah,
they've
been solid. You know, they're 2-2. Granted, one was a forfeit.
Yeah.
And the other one was a buzzer beater.
Yeah.
From Coach King. He's lucky he couldn't do it again if he tried.
A great pass by Richie Risk.
Richie Risk.
Richie.
Great job, Richard.
Richie Barker.
Richie Barker. He really did carry that shot. I don't think Alex could do it again if he tried.
Yep.
Devon Fawcett.
Devon
Fawcett. Great job, Devon. You nominated yourself.
Yep.
It's fair though. He's averaging, I think,
20
something, 19 or 20. He's playing very well. Next up is Kevin Jones.
Kevin Jones,
former WVU basketball player.
Let's disregard that.
So one of the dead bodies he keeps up on the shelves has just fallen off.
Yeah.
Looks to be between the ages of 10 and 8. So must be trafficking that for the Huffmans. Armadillo. Wait, no, they're not up next. Armadillos. Actually, I guess it's Carts. Yeah, Carts. Give it up for the great Guy Terry. Guy Terry's made the list. Great job, Guy Terry. Lebanese Stockton.
Great. I think it's a greater sign. It cut off.
Wait, who is that? Who calls me Lebanese Stockton? Is that? It's Kiefer, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep. Kiefer, get well soon. Get well soon, Coach. We miss you. No, we don't. Next up is Ellis Perry. Ellis Perry. Funk Ops.
Okay.
Funk Ops.
Ellis Perry.
Give it up for Funk Ops. Lil Nas X. Zion Murray. Lil Nas X. Give it up for him. He's also made it. He's played really well this year.
Yeah.
I've been impressed by him. I love their big three. I think their big three has the potential to get them a title. I really do. Get the Carts their first title. I think their big three. I think they just play really well together.
Yeah, and as much as I hate to say it, Aaron and Jonah are pretty good coaches.
They get people for some reason. Man, people just love to play for them.
They know how to get people together.
Yeah. Last up is Jabez Miller. Jabez Miller. Congrats, Jabez, on the nomination. Okay. Last two teams. Armadillos and Grizzlies. Let's start with the Armadillos.
I'm intrigued by who the third pick for the Armadillos is, because I feel like I know who two of them are.
Armadillos, Greg Schott. Great job, Greg Schott.
MVP.
I think he may have... He either set the record for the most rebounds or he already had it.
What was it?
23.
It was this year.
Was that this year?
Yeah, it was against
23.
23
rebounds.
It was a triple-double, too.
It was a triple-double. It was 20... it was like 19, 10, and 23.
19. I thought he got
like
20,
that.
10, and 20.
Which is just... I mean, that's hard to...
Yeah.
Tanner Burnett, which is good to see after he got booed on draft night.
Yeah.
A lot of people think he got overdrafted. Chase seemed confident, though, and he's in the All-Star shortlist.
Yeah.
Deserved.
Good. He definitely plays like a football player.
He definitely does. Isaac Risk, he's been nominated by Coach Stringer.
Logan Spurlock.
Well, we have Logan nominated. Logan is on the short list. However, he has had to go back to school. So college. He can't play in the game.
Okay.
But he is in the voting, and if he gets the votes, he will be an all-star. Isaac's interesting because I genuinely think that whether he's shooting well or not will be the difference between the Armadillos winning a playoff game.
I think Isaac can be one of the best shooters in the league if he's hot.
If he gets hot in the playoffs, I don't think anybody's beating them.
Yeah.
But if he's off,
it'll be a lot closer.
It'll be a lot closer because then they'll have to try and score inside. Well, Greg's a great shooter, especially now that they've lost Logan. Okay, Grizzlies lead it with 5 nominations.
Oh wow!
Which, I mean, it's hard to deny that they haven't been one of the best in the league so far.
What, are they still undefeated? Or no, they
they have one loss, and it's to the Wildcats, and it was not. They did not look in that game at all. Wildcats just looked too big. They just looked too big.
I tried to draft height.
Granted, yeah, I don't know if they had Sean that game.
I remember Alex telling
Sean
me.
Sean he really hasn't had a great game until last week against the Largemouths. Yeah. He had, I mean, that's the best game I've seen him play, including the one where he hit the game winner over Jay. Cam Kirsch has made it. Cam Kirsch is
the double machine.
He is, he's the double machine. He is he's one of the best shooters in the league. He can really when he gets hot, he's another one who's just hard to knock down.
Good ball handler too. I feel like people don't really.
Yeah, I think they underrated. He doesn't lose the ball.
Yeah.
He doesn't lose the ball. He's hard to get the ball off of. Another guy who's hard to get the ball off of, Richie Barker's made it. Richie has he's coming to his own a lot this year, and I really think that he is in my opinion the Grizzlies' most important player.
I think so too.
That his
energy,
their
entire offense runs through him.
Mm-hmm. I think their defense runs through him too. I think that his ability, his quickness, and his ability to steal the ball.
Great finisher around the rim.
The amount of times I had to yell at him, "Don't dribble at Richie. He's going to take it from you."
Yeah.
He is the only guy under 40 I've ever heard named Richie though.
Yeah.
But that's fine because he's great. Sean James has made it.
Which is crazy that Sean is one of the worst All-Star candidates on that team.
Yeah.
It just shows how deep their bench
Sean
is.
has an issue of blowing layups. However, he's fast, he's strong, he finishes at the rim. He's
great athlete all around.
Yeah, he's a great athlete, and no surprise that he's on the list.
Yeah.
Jordan Barker, brother Richie. Jordan Barker, another one who's had his on and off days.
Yeah.
But he has snuck onto the short list, so congrats to him.
If you remember last year's Malice at the Agnes.
Malice at that. That's great. I love that.
There was a bit of an altercation last year.
Him and Xavier.
And
we had
to separate Jordan and another player. It was good times.
Yeah. They're like friends. That's fine. Coach Alex King. He wouldn't nominate himself, but I put him on there.
Yeah.
I thought he's played well. He plays smart up here.
His
biggest issue is he's big and he doesn't. I don't think he realizes he's.
I don't think he can use it.
Someone should go up to him and tell him that he's like 6'2".
Yeah.
6'3".
Like back someone down because he plays like a guard.
Yeah, he needs to. I was talking to my dad, and he's like, I've been telling Alex since he was about 10 that he needs to play bigger.
Yeah.
He's a big kid and he can play like it. But he likes to spot up in the corner and shoot. And on his day when he's hitting his corner threes, that's his guy. He's the corner specialist. So that rounds out the list. I'm going to put the voting up live later, and I want you to go in, vote. Voting will end this time next week, and the top 16 will be in the All-Star game. Stay tuned for 3-point shooting contest. And for the coaches lineup. And there will be another half-court shooting contest. Last year, I think Logan won $30.
I think he did.
Which is
Didn't Sam Wolf hit a half-court or two?
He hit one in the 3-point contest. So it was like the Mountain Dew. It was one. So it was 1 if you hit any of your threes, and 3 if you hit a half-court. And he was down 3, and he made it.
Wow.
The tie, which is great. The clip's up on the Instagram. Any front runners for the 3-point shooting contest?
Depending on who's, I feel like Sam will be in it.
Mm-hmm.
I think Logan,
last year's champion.
Logan, depending on
if he can come,
will be in it because he's played lights out this year.
Mm-hmm.
He's transitioned from much more of like a rebounder.
Yeah, he was very much a football player kind of guy to. Dude, he's pulling up from so deep. Yeah.
I think he was probably from the volleyball line in the gym.
Yeah, oh, absolutely, he was pulling up from the volleyball line. Catch and shoot, just turn on, fire away. If he's there. My prediction, I'm still gonna go with Sam. He won last year. I don't think he gets nervous by the moment. No. I think he gets like raises to it. But I also think there's better shooters in the league last year than there was this year. I think Cam will be in it.
Yeah.
Maybe. Oh, by the way, just to say, like, you don't have to be on this list to be in the 3-point shooting contest. Yeah. It's just like the best 3-point shooters.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna get coaches to nominate again, and it'll be great. So come out, check it out. Dates and times will be posted up as soon as I get them from Larry. And yeah, so those are your all-star candidates.
After this, there'll be a Google Doc on the KCB on Instagram, right?
Let's see. Sean and Davis shouldn't be all-stars. It's it's the candidates. They haven't made the all-stars yet.
Yeah.
If Hayden's hot, he's not losing.
Honestly,
it's a big if.
That's a big if.
But I've seen it. I've seen him carry a team.
Yeah. He was definitely the MVP of the Lumberjacks.
Lumberjacks last year. Yeah. We lost the. So who did we lose? So the Lumberjacks became the Chipmunks. Grizzlies became.
Pastafarians became
the Grasshoppers became the Grizzlies.
Then they became the Grizzlies.
And Jokers became the Carts.
Yeah.
And
I think that's pretty much it. And then we
added two teams. Yeah, added Rockstars and Wildcats.
Yeah.
West Side Wildcats, who are very not from the West Side.
Let's get into some team rankings.
Team rankings. Okay, so I brought my power rankings from last week that I meant to post, but I didn't get to it because that takes too long.
Yeah.
It takes forever to get those posts done. You like my hot takes? It just says. That's all it says.
Nice.
I brought mine from last week that I didn't post, and I brought my new ones, and I'm still iffy on a few picks, and Coach, I know you're going to be upset.
Yeah.
But, so stay tuned, because I'm going to have my power rankings, I'm going to have his power rankings, I'm going to have a couple other ones, probably Chase's, probably Austin's, probably Jonah's, maybe Alex's if he gives them to me.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe I'll go get someone else's, maybe I'll get Joel's.
Yeah. Joel just put
Who doesn't want Joel on here? Who doesn't want Joel on here?
Put a one in the chat if you want
Joel on the podcast. One in the chats for Joel. Let's see some Joel trains. Where's our Joel hype? Alex King says Richie. Yeah, Richie made it. In my pairings, I had the Miners 9th behind the School of the Deaf and Blind. Well, they have the same number of wins. One in the chat for Joel. That's enough. Joel. That's all we needed to see. All right. So
I do think. I mean, I may be a little biased because it is my team. But
no, really?
I think that we've lost two. We've played 2 conference games with the Largies, and we've lost by 3 points overall. We lost by 2 points in the first game, which we did not have all our players. Mm-hmm. And then the second one was a very controversial
It was a blatant foul call that we caught on video.
I don't think it was blatant. I think it was very controversial, and we did not have...
Here, I'll put your logo colors up here.
We did not have the best ref. I will say that. Nothing against him.
We didn't have the worst one. No, you all are very close, and you have the talent to compete with anybody. As I said, for me, I mean, I'll tell you, like, top teams, right? You all can take them. You all can take the Rockstars. You can take the Armadillos. You can take the Cards. You can take the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we want to do power rankings? Is that what you want to do?
Yeah.
All right.
So I think you obviously have Miners at 8. Miners in last.
Well, okay. Do you want to do mine or do you want to do yours?
I was thinking we go 8, 8, 7, 7, 6,
okay,
6.
So
work up.
Last week I had the Chipmunks in 8th, but they've moved up, and the Miners have dropped 3 spots in my power rankings.
3.
They've dropped 3 spots in my power rankings. They're now my 8th seed.
Understandable.
They're now my 8.
We haven't won a game. Which is very understandable.
They hadn't won a game, but they lost 2 close ones to the Largies, who I do rate pretty highly.
Yeah.
Or not highly. I rank them as the highest of the second half, kind of second tier teams. Mm-hmm. And what was your other game? The Armadillos.
We got blown out by them.
Who the Armadillos were like my undisputed number 1.
Yeah.
However,
Until
the
the
Largies dropped some games. The Armadillos dropped a game, and then you all went and lost to the Wildcats.
Yeah.
So
it was just we had a few people not show up.
Yeah,
which they
that's
had
always frustrating.
Obligations.
Yeah,
which,
it's fine. Well, that's one of the
It's
great
just we
things
did
about
not
them.
have height on them at all. It's
Yeah,
hard when
they're
the Hamrick, Adam Hamrick's. I don't think Austin is
Austin. I don't know if he was there, but he plays.
The Hamrick
definitely-
brothers, and then
They added a third Hamrick.
Andre
Did
the
you hear?
Giant.
They added a third Hamrick.
there's
Well,
a
they
third
tried to
Hamrick?
add a third Hamrick, and all three of them got COVID.
Oh,
Zach says no, Joel.
Ever.
Well, how about your immune system works?
Yeah.
Have you thought of that? No. So, yeah. So the Miners have dropped 3 spots. I still think they have the talent to move up, but I think that loss puts a big dent in their playoff chances.
I have the Chipmunks at 8.
Chipmunks at 8. Okay.
A little biased, but I obviously don't want to put myself last. Which
Yeah. I just look at the Chipmunks and I think that their talent can carry them further. I think when they're there, I think that David, Hayden, and Clemente. I think that's a 3.
that's a very good.
That's a very good 3. Now I do wonder who's going to play guard in that situation for them.
Garib.
Fortnite
Garib.
Fortnite Garib, 17 assists. So I do wonder who'd play guard for them. However, yeah, they're solid.
Alex agrees. He says with all their players, the Chipmunks are a very scary team.
They are, but this is the second year in a row Garib's had a team that loses more games than they should. Last year, the Lumberjacks dropped so many games that they should have won.
But I think they've always. I don't know why. I guess it's maybe
You traded him Ben, right?
I traded him Ben.
Man, they do not have a guard on their team.
No,
They really don't.
I traded for Trent, so that took a guard away.
Yeah, you traded Ben for Trent. They don't have any guard. Who'd they pick up? David.
Who's
Yeah,
their-
they do not have Thomas Switzer is their starting guard, really.
Yeah.
Or Mason. They're gonna. That does make sense. They matched up well against the Wildcats, right? Their games were good. Hayden and Clemente could beat the Miners 2v5. Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. Yeah. So you want to do our 7s?
Yeah.
7s. So for mine, I had the Chipmunks at 7. They were my 8, but they moved up. They picked up a win against the Wildcats.
Yeah. I was not expecting that. They looked good.
I totally forgot. They looked very competitive with the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies, they lost by 1 as well to the Grizzlies.
And let's give some recognition to Fortnite Garib.
Isaac Garib.
Leading the KCBL
in rebounds
per game.
He went out and got 17 rebounds in a game. Now, he dropped 2 points. Now, he's been allegedly scored 20 points. And yeah, okay, everyone's backed him up who was there and said he did. But I got my wisdom teeth out, so I wasn't there to take the stats. So you have 2 points.
Yeah.
The thing about Isaac is that I don't like him
At all. There's nothing else to add to that?
He's kind of loud.
It's kind of loud.
It's kind of loud.
I don't like
I learned
his...
today that he named his dog after pizza.
What was his name? Supreme?
I don't even know. I just know it was named after pizza.
All right, anyways.
So, they're my 7 seed. They have the talent, but they haven't put it together yet.
Yeah. I have my team, the Miners, at 7. I think we could beat the Chipmunks. It's just we've lost 2 very close games, and then we lost a close-ish game with no subs against the Wildcats, and then we got, the blowout against the Armadillos was not good.
So I think we have the same 5 and 6, and these 2 teams, they haven't played yet, and they're so hard to differentiate.
Yeah.
The Largies and the Wildcats.
Yeah.
So to go over what I think about both teams, I think that the Largies, I genuinely think that the Largies might play the best defense in the league. Every one of their games is a low scoring affair. They're difficult to break down. They don't press, which means they don't generate the number of steals that the Carts and the Rockstars do. Who press very well.
When the Wildcats and Largies play, I think it will be a very low-scoring game because I think those are the 2 best defenses in the league.
I do. The issue is that I don't think we have the height to match the Wildcats. The thing is, if there's a team that has the height to match the Wildcats, I don't think the Wildcats have a chance to beat them. Yeah. I just don't think they have the talent.
What's their height? It's 6'5", 6'5",
It's good, and they play together. They're they're not poorly coached. Austin gets people to play for him.
Yeah. And I mean, they've all known each other for years, so they have chemistry.
So there were a couple things to base this off of. The Wildcats have some good wins. They are the only team to have beaten the Grizzlies, who have gone out and I mean they've gotten good wins. They beat the Carts,
which are
who
Grizzlies
are
and
good,
Carts are both top 3 teams.
Yeah. The Largies they've lost 3 games, but they've lost games to decent opponents, right? Their losses to the Carts, losses to the Grizzlies, losses to the Rockstars, and all 3 of those games were very close. Carts went to overtime. Grizzlies was probably a 15-point lead in the third quarter that got blown.
Oof.
That was last week, and the Rockstars game was very close until they pulled away at the end.
Yeah.
Whereas the Wildcats have gotten blown out. They've gotten beat bad.
Yeah.
But they also beat the Miners bad, which we struggled to do.
Well,
and they have a good win, so it's a very tough choice. And
they only won by like 8. I think
we went in opposite directions on this. So
yeah, who's your 6?
I have written down here as Largies at 6, but the more I think about it, I think that the Largies are the more consistent team, and so I put the Largies at 5th and the Wildcats at 6.
Yeah.
But those are so difficult.
I'm
difficult to.
I feel like I was thinking about the point differential of our game, the Miners and Largies, and then the point differential of the Wildcats game. Mm-hmm. I mean, they beat us by 9 points. Yeah. And we've played 2 games against the Largies, and they beat us by 2 and then 1.
You know, I sit here and talk, we had a good game against the Grizzlies. They beat the Grizzlies, and it wasn't really close. Like, the scoreline's a lot closer than the game was. If you watch the game, the Grizzlies were not in that game.
Austin just sent his
heights 6'5", 6'3", 6'1", 6 something, and 5'11", X3. Yeah.
Which, I mean,
okay.
You don't have. I mean, you have 4 players that are 6 foot and taller. That's hard to match up with.
Yeah. So we can go into our 4. My 4 last week was the Carts. The Carts were my number 4. They moved up. And I've had the Rockstars fall 1 spot into number 4. They've lost one of their better players.
Yeah.
To what I assume are COVID concerns, which is totally fair.
Yeah.
Especially now with how that affects your ability to play sports.
Yeah.
They also they did drop a Grizzlies game, and they dropped the Armadillos game to a forfeit, which hurts. The thing for the Rockstars is, for me, they are a good team. Like, they're title contenders. Yeah. For me, these top 4, these are your title contenders. These are the guys you want to watch.
Yeah.
It's not so much that they've done anything bad in the last week. It's more, number 1, they lost someone, and number 2, they lost to what was I gonna say? They The teams ahead of them have proven themselves. You know, I've been convinced by the Grizzlies, Carts, and Armadillos in the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
The Rockstars totally have a chance. They were as high as 2 in my power rankings earlier in the year when I still didn't post them. So yeah, I have the Rockstars as my 4.
I went with the Rockstars at 4 as well.
Rockstars at 4 as well. Now it gets interesting. I'm interested to see who your 3 is.
I have the Carts at 3.
Carts at 3, okay.
I feel like they have. I mean, they're definitely one of the better contenders. Obviously, they're third best team in my book in the KCBL.
Yes.
The thing for them, they're a very good late team.
Mm-hmm.
I think they give up too many points in the first and second quarter.
I think you're right. I totally agree.
I think they don't really lock in until like.
It takes that moment at halftime where Mackay goes to the scores table and says how many he's going to score.
Yeah.
That they lock in. So yeah, that's a good pick.
Yeah. Who's your 3rd?
My 3rd is dropping out of first place to the 3 spot.
Wow.
I have the Armadillos at 3.
Armadillos.
I think the Armadillos are a great team. I love the way they move the ball. I love the way they play with each other.
Yeah.
But I think that a large part of that was the way Logan was playing.
Yeah.
And I think a large part of that was their competition.
Yeah.
They have 3 real wins against the 3 worst teams in the league, in my opinion.
Have they played the Chipmunks?
Yeah, Chipmunks, Miners, and Wildcats. Now, don't get me wrong. They've blown every one of those teams out.
Yeah.
They've killed them. But they went to a game with a tough opponent and they lost. don't get me wrong. They were my number one all year until this week, and they still have the best record in the league. Yeah. So on paper and what actually matters, they're still number one. As I said, when Isaac's hitting his shots, I don't think you're beating them. When Greg's on point, I wonder how he fares now without Logan. He and Logan bounced off each other really well.
They played together last year.
Yeah, they played together last year. They're playing together this year, so I'm interested to see how they do without him. I think that the combination of poor competition and losing Logan drops them.
Chase has himself at 2, but it's fair to put them there.
Okay, I think my number 1's going to surprise some people, but do you have your 2?
My 2 is the Grizzlies.
My 2 is also the Grizzlies. This is, for me, these two teams are so tight. The Grizzlies are phenomenal. They really are. That they play with each other so well. The issue for me is that Wildcats loss, I think, hurts a lot.
Yeah.
And they let teams who are worse than them hang around.
I think
we were up 15 points on them in the third. They let the Chipmunks hang around well into the end.
Yeah.
Now they do have some convincing games.
I think if they maybe trade someone for
maybe
like
some size.
Yeah,
I think that they're that away from really competing.
Yeah.
And I think that they have a great. I think that the win against the Rockstars was it was pretty convincing. Because I do rate the Rockstars highly. I just think that losing a player and a forfeit drops them. So I have the Grizzlies at 2. I was talking to Isaac about it earlier in the week, my brother, and he has the Grizzlies at 1. He's like he just thinks that they're stacked.
I think
his words were that when they have Richie, that they're not going to get beaten.
Yeah, Richie. I mean, he offers so much.
Which is funny because, like, if you look at the stats, he averages 11 points a game.
Yeah,
he's not your scorer. They spread their scoring out really well. That's why they have 5 All-Stars. They don't have a guy dropping 20, 30 points a game. They have 5 guys dropping 10.
Yeah.
So I think that they're the most well-rounded team. I also think they're the most consistent team. If they lose a player, like if every team on here loses a good player, they're the ones who can still bounce back from that.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's why I have the Grizzlies as my 2 seed.
Chase says the Grizzlies are beating the Carts 10 times out of 10.
I have the Jonah Smokes Carts as my 1 seed. Wow. I have them jumping up 4 spots.
4 spots.
I was convinced. I genuinely think that now that they have been able to get all their players there, I think that's the biggest hurdle for them. If they can get all their players to games, I genuinely think that I was looking at their games. Mm-hmm. Their only loss is to the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
Week 1. So their only loss is to the second best team. First game of the year, outside.
Yeah. I've seen.
They have an impressive resume.
Was
they have an impressive resume. No, it was nice out. It was decent out. So they have an impressive resume. There are a few knocks on them.
Yeah.
We played them and we totally felt like we were competing with them. Like, I did not feel threatened by the Cards at all that game. Now, I think that the Cards have improved greatly. That's the one thing about every team in here has kind of gone like this all year. They've had highs, they've had lows. For me, the Cards every game have looked better.
Yeah.
They looked better when they played us than when they played the Grizzlies. They looked better when they played the Armadillos than when they played the Grizzlies, or when they played us. I think that their big 3 is hard to stop. I think they have a lot of energy. However, like, I would not be so. If you told me, in 2 weeks you're gonna have them at 4th, that wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah,
I think that's how volatile. I think that the top 4 genuinely has nearly equal odds to win the championship.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the next Armadillos Cards game. I think that's gonna
Armadillos Cards rematch. I have that on my schedule on my to watch list. I have Largy's Wildcats.
Yeah.
I have Rockstars Grizzlies 2.
Mm-hmm.
And what else do I have? Rockstars Cards. Those are my games to watch.
That's fair. Have I said my 1?
No, but it has to be the only guy team you've left off.
I have Armadillos. At the 1 spot. I feel like when they're hot, you can't beat them.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Like, they will demoralize you.
Oh yeah, no. They will. They are the team that is most likely to blow you out.
Yeah.
They will. Yeah. They are. Them are the Rock Stars. Rock Stars has some blowout wins.
They're both the Rock Stars, like you said, and the Armadillos. They're both great shooting teams. Greg can shoot the ball great. I mean, even Tanner has shot pretty good, which surprises me. Logan has shot the ball lights out this year. I think he might be leading. If we did keep track of three-point
percentage, he would probably be leading it. Like if you did like a minimum shot volume.
Yeah, like minimum of 50 shots or something.
I don't know, he shot 53 pointers, but maybe like 15.
15.
Yeah. So I think you're right.
Chase says that clip will 100% be on their Instagram.
We will demoralize you. Man, wait, who's that? Is that Zach?
John Cena?
Yeah.
That's Chase.
That's Chase? Man, I'm going to add Chase to the list of people I don't like. Nice. It's got Garib on there, and it's got both cards. So that's right. I hate half the coaches in my league, guys. No, I don't. No, they're all great personalities, bring a lot to the league. It could keep the campaigning a little more, less woman-hatey.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah. So those are my power rankings. I'm going to have those up. I'm going to have a couple others from around the league. And remember, these are just for fun. These don't mean anything. These are not the official rankings.
Yeah.
To see those go in the standings and see where you are in your division. For those who don't know how the playoff format's going to work, top 3 in each division get in.
Yeah.
So if you're bottom in your division, you don't get into the playoffs. 1 seeds in both divisions will get byes. 2s will play the 3s from the other team.
And then the winner of 2 and 3 plays the 1.
So the winner of 2 and 3. So it'll be like 1 from the Kanawha division, 2 from the Elk division, 3 from the Kanawha division. So I can pull that up right now. Let's see, because I just posted it. So right now the playoff matchups would be, if the season ended today,
all the coaches are actually
Carts versus Largies would be 1 game. And then the winner of that would play the Grizzlies. Rock Stars versus Wildcats. Winner of that would play the Armadillos. So maybe we actually get to see Armadillos versus Rock Stars.
That would be I feel like that would be a very high
So the thing is, the Carts are only behind the Armadillos because they played a game less. They're 3-1. So if they win their next game and the Armadillos don't play, they'll jump them. But they do have to see each other again. So.
Well, speaking of Fortnite Garib, like Chase did.
How's Austin already? Bro, look at this. I announced these 20 minutes ago. He's already got the post up with them all on it. Granted, he did tell me who was on there. That's how he did
anyways.
I'll like it. Everyone go like it. I'll shout you out. No, I won't.
Fortnite Garib.
That's not a joke. I'm actually not.
Fortnite Garib's favorite NFL team, the Washington football team.
Oh, here we go. I've been dying to talk about this.
Getting into some real sports now.
Yeah. Leaving the league behind. Let's get into the juicy stuff.
Yeah. They've got their final, 5 names of...
Yeah.
It's the football team, the Red Hawks, the Armada...
Let's see. Here we go. Presidents. Great. So just to clear up, we're talking about the Washington football team. Yeah. They've announced their short list of names, and they're going to announce them February 2nd.
February 2nd.
I
didn't know it was going to be that
if
soon.
you're watching, just go ahead and leave who you think is going to take it.
I personally would like the Red Hawks, I think.
So we've got Presidents, Brigade, Armada, Commanders, Red Hogs, Defenders, Red Wolves, and football team. They didn't do my favorite.
What was your favorite?
My favorite pick was the Red Wings.
I like that. That sounds a little like a hockey team, though.
It is a hockey team.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, it is. No, not the Red Wings. What were they called? Was it the Red Tails?
I don't know. I don't watch
hockey.
No,
I can't remember. No. Well, it's not the hockey team. It was named after the, I think it was named after the Tuscaloosa Airmen. It was one of, like, the first black patrol or, like, Air Force kind of thing. I don't know. I just wanted to see another plane team thing. Yeah. I like they keep the red. Red Wolves, to me, just sounds too much of, like, oh, Redskins. Oh, we can't say that anymore, so we're choosing Red Wolves.
Yeah. And
less, like, I don't know. I was going to say sincere, but you can't expect that out of that franchise.
Yeah.
I mean,
out of all those, I'd like to see them either be the Armada.
Armada's cool.
Or the Red Hogs. I
think Armada's creative, but I wonder how many people in the U.S. know what an Armada is.
Yeah.
If you don't know, it's a fleet of warships.
Yeah.
Presidents, okay, but that would fit in with the other teams. It would fit in with the Nationals and the Capitals. and the
I
Wizards.
Yeah,
I never really got that
I
one.
didn't really. Did either. But they like
Brigade.
Brigade
is a sneaky good pick. I like that one. So the thing is just that like it's just number one. I don't know why it took so long.
Yeah.
Defenders. Okay, they're just gonna steal the XFL team name. If I was to tell you an odds-on favorite, I think it would be Red Wolves, Presidents, or Keeping Football Team.
Honest, I wouldn't be mad with football team. I kind of like it.
I kind of like it, but it just doesn't fit that American style name.
Chase,
I don't think
Chase
it's
agrees. He thinks they'll stick with football team.
I honestly think that if you were betting, your best bet would be Red Wolves or football team.
Yeah.
Personally, I like Brigade. Washington Brigade.
I like Brigade.
But I do think that you want to keep like the Red Wolves, Red Hogs, because that sort of rivalry, like Cowboys versus Brigade or Eagles versus Armada. It's like you're like versus Red Wolves. It's like you're still acknowledging the history while getting rid of the offensive term.
Yeah. Alex says Red Hawks.
It's an interesting time to be a Washington fan. Although I would like to see one Washington fan who's happy.
Yeah.
Just sort of in life.
Yeah. I mean,
seriously,
have they ever won any? I mean, they were in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, no, they
like
have.
70
They have
years
three
ago.
or four. They have 3 or 4. Not in a long time, and that last Cowboys game can't feel good.
They were in Super Bowl like 3, I think.
Yeah, I genuinely think the only thing worse than being a Washington football team fan is being a woman who works for them.
Yeah.
So,
well, anyways,
trending topic.
we have a new segment. We're calling it Trending Topics.
Really badly though.
Yeah.
Chase. Maybe that's why Chase could jump teams there.
Maybe.
They don't treat women good. He doesn't treat women.
Yeah.
Anyways,
we have a new segment called Trending Topics.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty straightforward. We're going to talk about trending topics.
Yeah.
So first on my notes, I have the Antonio Brown drama. We've had a few days to sort of take it in.
To process it,
and kind of figure out a bit of what happens. But we still haven't heard AB's side of the story.
We heard the song.
Yeah.
Look, when AB started acting up and stuff, it was very much a thing of like, man, look at this spoiled guy who thinks he deserves everything. And but it's gotten to a point now where it's not even a thing of like, man, I don't like this guy. It's very much become like, this is a guy who needs help.
Yeah.
And he's a guy who he reminds me. This is gonna be my hot take, but he reminds me a lot of Kanye West in the way that I don't think he has anybody in his life who he sees as not necessarily above him, but he doesn't have anybody in his life who can tell him not to do something and he'll respect it.
Sort of a God complex.
Not even just a God complex, just that he genuinely doesn't feel like there's anybody who can. I mean, I guess that is a God complex.
Yeah.
And I mean it doesn't help that he is a top 10 receiver of all time, because, I mean, even if Jerry Rice goes and tells him to get his act together, he's not going to. He's a guy who needs serious help. There's something going on with him.
He displays all of the severe symptoms of CTE.
Yeah.
Bad impulse control.
Absolutely.
Excessive mood swings, but like bad decision making. He exhibits all that.
I'm getting the hot takes. That'll be mine. Antonio Brown is Kanye. But I do think that he like their stories. If you read the stories of him in Central Michigan, he acted a lot of the same way.
Well, I've heard different. I've heard he was a completely different person.
Was he? I mean, that could be the case, but I do think he's always had those antics in him, and I think that whatever's gone on mentally for him is just worse than that.
I mean, honestly,
there's a part of it that maybe, like, there was a time where I was like, maybe the Steelers just have really good discipline. And they were able to keep him under wraps, but
that makes Mike Tomlin look like an even more amazing coach than
he is. Does, but you also have to realize that they've had the last two seasons. The headlines have been dominated by how undisciplined their receiving corps has been.
Yeah, well, but they're all very.
No, those guys, Juju and Claypool. That's more than being young.
Yeah.
That's more than being dumb. I think a lot of that is. I think that's them trying to. I don't know. They've got a discipline issue right now, but You're absolutely right. Mike Tomlin's he's a top 5 coach. That's my other hot take. I don't know if I think it's a hot take.
I think AB will play again. I see a lot of people.
You think he'll play again?
I'm seeing a lot of people saying he'll never play an NFL game again.
I think you're right.
I think he will.
I think he'll play again too.
I think there's a shortage of. I mean, the Bucks couldn't afford to lose him already.
Yeah.
I mean, they had. Mike Evans has been on and off like a little iffy all year. Mm-hmm. Godwin is out for the year. Mm-hmm. They had AB and Scotty Miller out there last week, which isn't bad. But you remove AB from that situation, and you have Scotty Miller and a rookie left, and then OJ Howard, Gronk, and Cameron Brate.
They're just running tight ends every play.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do see why you don't want, because he did it while he was on the Bucks. Yeah. You don't want that going into the playoffs. Mm-hmm. But I can't say I don't disagree that he's gonna get a job again.
Yeah.
And honestly, whether he needs it or not, he doesn't need an NFL job. He needs help. He
does need serious help, I think. It's terrible because I think so many NFL players have gone down the same path as the Junior Seau's, the Aaron Hernandez's, the Phillip Adams, where it's just there's nothing you can do for it. You spiral out of control and you lose your own brain.
Yeah, the more that comes out of this Washington football team investigation, and the more that you realize that the NFL covers a lot of stuff like this up, like the damaging effects of, like, the NFL should be stepping in to help Antonio Brown. Yeah. You know how much money the NFL's made off of Antonio Brown?
Probably.
He's one of their best receivers ever, and he's suffering, and they're not doing anything to help him. Yeah. The more that stuff comes out about them, and first of all, the fact that they aren't releasing their report about sketchy. The harassment in the workplace of Washington, and instead they release an expose on John Gruden's emails. Yeah. I lose a lot of respect for that league. Yeah. But I'm still gonna watch every game. Yeah. That's the thing. Like, what do you do? Like, not watch? Like, you're gonna watch. Like, I'm sorry. Like,
I have a take on where I think Antonio will go if he does not stay with the Buccaneers.
Okay.
I think he will go to your Dallas Cowboys.
I think that, man, Jerry Boy loves himself some talent. He loves talent, and
Michael Gallup injured. I mean, you're in need of a.
I would argue though that maybe his injury. I don't think he's going to get signed this season, but I think he could get signed in the offseason. I think he can get signed in the offseason, and I think that Michael Gallup's injury helps his case of getting re-signed because he can't ask for the money. Yeah. Which sucks for him because he deserves it. He's a good person. He works hard and he deserved the bag. Yeah. But I mean, I'd be totally fine with Cedric Wilson. I think Cedric Wilson is. I think he can be a legit number 3 going forward. I don't really think we need Gallup. Yeah. The only thing with Gallup is he's a jump ball guy. He's a big build. He's a different kind of receiver.
And I feel like Antonio might want to go back to the Steelers, judging on what he posted about Big Ben and
sure
supporting him.
Like he was, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Big Ben,
support him better than his bodyguard did.
Yeah. Speaking of Big Ben,
that's a great joke, by the way. What he did, he had the bodyguard stand outside the bathroom. That's what happened.
Speaking of Big Ben,
it's one
amazing last game.
How many I could fit in?
Yeah, amazing last game from Big Ben. As much as I hate the Steelers,
I can't stand him, but we don't want him. I don't care. Yeah. He is a first ballot Hall of Fame quarterback, and
I agree.
It is nice to see him go out in front of his fans with a win against a team that he owns. He is their father as well as
Aaron Rodgers is unknown to the Bears, as is Ben is to the Browns.
Yeah, absolutely. And really just that whole division, man.
Yeah.
Now, granted, should he have gone a few years ago? I think he should have.
Yeah.
I think that it reminds me a lot in the way, and Chase, you're going to love this part, of how Kobe, despite being great, held the Lakers back by taking up space for someone younger who could help them move forward. I think he should have gone when he had the chance. Who knows? Maybe they did ask him. He'd shown before that he doesn't take no for an answer, so he was going to do whatever he wanted. That's number 2. But he... funny enough, it's also how many allegations he has.
Really?
It's always great to see a guy go out on a term like that, you know.
And it couldn't have been against anyone better.
No. So you know what, Big Ben, great job.
Baker, you
try
suck.
to keep in your pants in retirement.
Baker Mayfield, you should be working at Walmart. You suck.
Why? Why are you going in at it? Okay.
He sucks.
What's up next?
Let's talk a little bit about Mike Zimmer in the hot seat.
Mike Zimmer absolutely needs to be fired. There is no excuse. I don't think they should have even waited this far. He should have been fired after they lost to the Cowboys.
Yeah.
After that game, he should have been fired.
Yeah. I don't think you can win with a defensive-minded coach anymore in the NFL.
That's a hot take.
I really don't think you can.
I see it. That's a hot take, but I see it. You look at the guys you typically think of as defensive-minded. I mean, my mind goes straight to Tomlin.
Yeah.
I think Tomlin's a phenomenal coach. But
Tomlin's also, I think he is more, he knows how to attract a good offensive coordinator. Not saying Matt Canada's a good offensive coordinator. I'm saying before that.
Okay.
Like back when they had AB, like early,
they had like
early
the
2010s.
3D, like Ben, Brown, and Bell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was... Yeah. I mean, that they ran a good offense. You got to admit back in the day. Now with Matt Canada should not have an offensive coordinator job at all.
Man, I love him there though. Please don't get rid of him. You can't tell I don't like the Steelers very much.
Yeah.
So yeah, Mike Zimmer for me is the guy on the hot seat. Like if you were to fire one guy, you have to get rid of him.
Yeah.
Granted, and as you're gonna learn when we get later, I don't think very highly of their quarterback.
Yeah.
But Mike Zimmer's got to go.
Let's hear your. You showed me a Kirk Cousins hot take before we went live.
So Landon texted me this like instruction list that we're looking at now, like the notes. Here's what we're gonna go over, and there's a section that's just labeled hot takes.
Yeah.
And I swear to God, in my phone, the only thing it says is in all capital letters. Let's see if I can just pull it up. You're not gonna be able to see it, but all it says is Kirk Cousins sucks. I don't care what his stats look like. I genuinely don't think that you can get anywhere. I mean, I think you struggle to get into the playoffs with Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they've gotten worse since they got him. I didn't like him in Washington. I don't understand why he got paid. I don't understand why they his fans still seem to think he's the answer. I'm not convinced. I haven't seen him step up in a way that's convincing to me. When was the last important game that he won?
I think I saw a graphic when I was watching the last, I think it was either Monday Night Football, Thursday night, or it was one of the primetime games, and it was I think it was Vikings-Packers. Mm-hmm. And it showed a graphic. Kirk Cousins has either won 0 or 1 game on primetime out of, I think, 4 or 5 games.
Yeah.
Maybe 6.
I think some of that is just like bad luck. You know, like those are the games that... I mean, I think there's something to be said about how you perform in prime time, but I also think that too much emphasis gets put on that just because it's a cool stat.
Yeah.
I just don't think he's a guy who goes out and wins you games.
Yeah.
I don't think the Vikings are going anywhere as long as they stick with him. I honestly think their best bet is to blow it all up.
Yeah. Who are you thinking for replacements for
Zimmer?
For Zimmer.
Well, there's 2 names that I think are really interesting that got thrown around, and then I'll say my actual. Well, I have a pick for the Jaguars. I know who I think they should hire.
Yeah.
For the Vikings, I've heard the name Kellen Moore.
Yeah.
As a Cowboys fan, I am not high on Kellen Moore. I think that the pressure gets to him very easily. I think that his play calling is often overcomplicated and not. Like, he tries to trick people, but he does it so unconvincingly.
Yeah.
I know our offense our offense puts all these great numbers, but I think a lot of times it's in spite of the play calling and not because of it. And he's getting
there's just so many weapons on that team. I
feel like he doesn't use them very well. I don't know. If you're Kellen Moore and you get a head coaching job, you have to take it because you're not going to get another one.
Yeah.
The other name is Byron Leftwich.
That's who I have in
I
mind.
love Byron Leftwich. He's a Marshall guy.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to see him win a Super Bowl, but my advice to him is the complete opposite. I don't think you take a job. I think that I don't understand a scenario where getting another year to play with that Tampa offense, to learn from Tom Brady, to get to be with him as hurt your stock because there's always going to be head coaching jobs.
Yeah.
But I don't know that Kellen Moore is going to get another one. I think the Cowboys will regress next year, and I don't think it's going to be all their I think number one, it's their contracts. I think that they're got a lot of good contracts right now.
Yeah.
Jaron Curse on a 1-year deal as a safety, he's been great. I thought
he's been very good.
He's been so impressive.
I have
but
Doug Peterson. I think he'll be
Doug Peterson, really
a good replacement.
I mean,
he was a Super Bowl winning coach a few years ago.
He ran that team phenomenally when they went.
Yeah, and he is great at taking criticism and changing how he does things. That Philadelphia team, I think the first 3 weeks, they were not a running team. Carson Wentz passed the ball, I think, 50 times in a game. And the Players' Council came to him. They talked about running the ball more. The next game, they ran it, I think, maybe 30, 35 times. And they won the game considerably with, I think, Jay Ajayi was still on the team then.
Yeah.
Shout out Jay Ajayi.
No one cares about the Dolphins. Okay, so my pick, I like that pick for the Vikings. I think, what is it, Matt Campbell? Is he the Iowa State guy? Who's the Iowa State guy? I think he's a good pick for the Vikings. I really like the name Jim Caldwell.
Jim Caldwell had an amazing amount of success with the Lions.
He has had the most success that the Lions have had in 30 years.
I did some research before the show, and I looked up. He had 3 9-win seasons and took them to the playoffs. And they have not been any better.
Took the Lions to the playoffs.
And they have not had a better year or better season in a 30-year stretch.
Yeah, so I totally think that for me, if you're the Jacksonville Jaguars and you want a coach to build around, for me, you go and you get Jim Caldwell.
I think so too. I was between Peterson and Jim Caldwell.
I think that the last name in my consideration, so far as my coaches, you have Kellen Moore, who I'm not high on, Byron Leftwich, who I think the job would be bad for him.
Yeah.
We have Doug Peterson, we have Jim Caldwell, and my last guy is Eric Bieniemy. I think that, you run that Chiefs offense for so long, I think you deserve a look.
And I feel like the passing offense, like a heavy pass offense. I mean, they don't run the ball particularly well. They don't run it particularly bad.
Yeah, Alex says, Campbell's the Iowa State coach. Yeah, I'm just college coaches jump straight to the NFL don't have a great look right now with Matt Rule and Urban Meyer.
Matt Rule should go back.
For me, I think you probably want to be an assistant in the NFL first.
Yeah.
You need to understand how that works. It's a different environment.
It's a huge jump.
You're dealing with grown men. You're dealing with better competition. There's no recruiting.
Yeah.
You're not just dealing with kids' educations. You're dealing with their lives now.
Yeah.
So I think you need a bit of experience. But he built that Iowa State program very well. I think he is a great coach. But so is Matt Rule, and they don't look very good right now.
Chase says Bieniemy is overrated as can be. The Chiefs DC is more worthy of a head coach job.
That's why I didn't put him in my ranking. The only thing is I know people people around the league do speak very highly of him, and for him to not get a consideration, I think wouldn't be fair to him.
Yeah.
So maybe if you're looking as more of a... Who else would be on the hot seat? So Jags need a spot. Vikings need a spot.
Honestly, Brian Flores might be...
Brian Flores is on the hot seat.
Under a little pressure. I think he lost us that Jags game.
Would you be willing to take Eric Bieniemy in the role of Brian Flores?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No. I think Brian Flores is not a good play caller. Mm-hmm. But I think he brings so much to the defensive side of the ball. Like...
Did you not say moments earlier that you
can't
can't win
that's
with
what I'm
a
saying.
defensive coach?
But, I mean, he's a defensive coach, and we lost to 2 not very good teams. But I think you're better off with someone like Doug Peterson or Jim Caldwell as a coach than Flores.
I think Jim... Yeah, I'd be interested to see how well...
Jim Caldwell
I'd be interested to see if Caldwell... Yeah, when you look back at how he got fired, he didn't get fired because he had the Lions playing bad. He got fired because the owner fell in love with Matt Patricia. Yeah. They fell for the Patriots thing where you try to basically be the Patriots, and they're not the Patriots.
I mean, they tried to trade for Gronk.
And then when they couldn't get him, they drafted Hawkinson to be their Gronk, who, I mean, he's good. Yeah, he's great.
But I mean, when you got Jared Goff, who's a low-tier quarterback.
So he didn't get fired because he was bad. He got fired because...
If Flores leaves, I'd love him in Pittsburgh as a DC. I think he's great. I think Flores would be much better as a DC. He's a great.
I think it'd be very similar to what Dan Quinn's gone and done in Dallas. He's left Atlanta and he's turned Dallas's defense around. We went from being a team who relied on our offense to win, right around to a team that relies on our defense to win. Like, genuinely, I think the difference between the Cowboys winning in the playoffs and losing is directly determined to the number of turnovers they get. Like,
for sure.
If you could probably, like, if you all said, give me a rating 1 through 4, how confident you are that the Cowboys going to win a playoff game, I'd ask you, okay, did they get, how many turnovers they get? They got 3 turnovers? All right, 3 out of 4.
Yeah.
I mean, that's...
They're very Trayvon Diggs interception dependent.
Mm-hmm. Well, the team is picking, I mean, like, you know what's funny? They had... I don't like the Trayvon Diggs depoy shouts at all. They had the FPP like rankings of players up, and he's not even our best rated cornerback. Anthony Brown's ranked higher.
Really?
Which personally I'd throw him in a dumpster after that Raiders game. But
what was that? Four pass interference calls?
Was it Anthony Brown or Jordan Lewis? It might have been Jordan Lewis. No, he was ranked higher. It might have been Jordan Lewis. Jordan Lewis is good. We have decent corners. Good safety. Van Der Esch has kind of regressed a bit, but yeah. So, I think Chase, I think you're absolutely right. I think if Flores leaves, he should go be a DC somewhere.
Yeah, for sure.
I think Peterson to the Dolphins, Caldwell to the Jags, and
are we thinking Dan Campbell still has a job?
Dan Campbell definitely has a job. Yeah, the people there love him. The fans love him. I don't know who you bring into the Vikings. I really don't.
I don't know.
I think that
maybe Jim Caldwell, but I don't know if he really fits there.
For me, I think Caldwell goes to the Jags. I think that's where he's been good. I think he can take them to a decent place.
Yeah.
I mean, Josh McDaniels, but he's another one where I wouldn't take him out of the New England system.
Yeah.
I think if you're him, I think you don't leave.
Who's replacing Matt Nagy? Because I feel like if he's not out of there, the city of Chicago needs to riot.
He could be an interesting place. I think that maybe the Bears fly under the radar a little bit.
Yeah.
I think the Vikings do too. You know what? I think the Vikings would be a good place for Matt Campbell. I think he could go there. I think he could be under the radar a little bit, figure out the system. Mm-hmm. He's got veterans there he can trust. You know, he doesn't have the quarterback uncertainty that Matt Rule had to deal with.
Yeah.
As much as I don't like Kirk Cousins, he's going to be there for a while, and he is a veteran. He's been in the league forever. So I think that could be a good pick. And then maybe you look at, I mean, I don't know, the enemy there, or maybe they talk about Byron Leftwich, but I still just think that if you're Byron Leftwich, you don't leave Tampa.
I'm with you on that. The more and more I think about the opportunity to learn from Brady and that amazing Bucs offense.
Yeah, I mean, look at his weapon. He gets to play around with Leonard Fournette and Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. I mean, not Antonio Brown anymore, but Scotty Miller and Gronk and
Antonio
Howard
Brown was
a stud O-line.
Was a great wide receiver, and he on certain teams he would be the best wide receiver.
Oh yeah,
it's crazy to me that he is the third best wide receiver on that team.
He's a wide receiver 3. Who's replacing Nagy? Okay, yeah. So I think
Matt Campbell.
I think Matt Campbell fits better in Minnesota. I think they need to go there and chill out. I'm interested to see what Zach has to say about that. But yeah. So yeah, that's our trending topics, right? What else we got?
We have our opinions on the college football playoff on the most recent games.
Okay, where do you want to start with that?
Let's talk about the Bama-Cincy game. It's a little more simple. I think Cincy, being a good team, kept it closer than I imagined.
I think that a lot of people saw them not really get it. They weren't. I think a lot of people took away from that game, see, this proves that you shouldn't put a group of 5 teams into the playoffs.
Yeah.
And to me, that's not the message at all. I think Cincinnati went out there and showed that they could be in the playoff. Yeah. They absolutely, their defense looked good. Okay, they got lucky on a few things, some missed field goals and whatnot, but their issue was their offense. They couldn't get their offense rolling. Yeah. They couldn't move the ball on Bama.
You put Bama's O-line on Cincinnati's team, they're going to the national championship.
That was the difference. They could not block Alabama. Yeah. They could not on
either
side of the ball.
It's hard to when you're going against 6'8", 200 70, 80 pounds.
It doesn't surprise me that Bill O'Brien is Bama's head coach because his play calling is so why? They should have gone out there and ran the ball so much more than they did.
Yeah.
They struggled on offense because
Bama's head coach?
Or offensive coordinator.
Okay.
They got out there and tried to throw the ball on those Cincy corners, and they were struggling to.
Yeah. I mean,
when they ran the ball, it was a consistent 7 yards every play.
Zach predicted last week that Sauce Gardner lets up his first touchdown, and he thought Jamison Williams is going to get 2 touchdowns on Sauce Gardner. Sauce Gardner has still not let up a touchdown for 2
Those
years.
Cincy corners are they're incredible, and I totally think that since he showed that teams like that could be considered, I think they put up a better fight than any team besides. And as much as I hate to say it, I think the only team that really would have put up a better fight is not Baylor, not Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
I think the only team that would have put up a better fight is Ohio State.
Yeah. Hold on a second.
So, I think since he showed that they could be there, and I also think that they were playing a phenomenal Alabama team.
Brizzy Gotham says, opinions on the Bengals winning the AFC North.
I love it. Are you kidding me? I love seeing that. I love that. I love everything about Cincinnati.
It's good to see Cincy back in a winning situation.
Yeah, I love the city of Cincinnati. I think that they've got a tough bid with the Bengals and the Reds not being particularly great.
Yeah.
But I love it. I love Joe Burrow. He's if we ended up doing the best college football or favorite college football players of all time, he would have been maybe top 3.
He's top 5.
I love that guy. He's just incredible to watch. They have a dynamic team.
Yeah.
I love seeing them be good. Finally, Cincinnati has something to be proud of. I love everything to do with that.
So let's talk about Georgia-Michigan, which I think is more of a shocker. A lot of people picked Michigan to win that game. I had Georgia. I said on the show last week that I had Georgia winning.
You had Georgia. What the key for
I said the key factor was going to be the O-line. Zach had Michigan. I said the key factor was going to be that Michigan O-line. That Michigan O-line did not play well against those huge Georgia D tackles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I was out. I didn't get to watch the game. I checked it at half. I was expecting a closer game, and maybe I was naive to think so.
Yeah.
Georgia was the consensus number 1 all year. Genuinely, people thought, this is Georgia's year. And it still very well could be Georgia's year. I would love to see Georgia win.
I would too. I'm tired of Bama winning.
Are they going to win? I just don't know. But I'd love to see them win. Love it for Kirby Smart.
Yeah.
Love it for all those Georgia fans who've been waiting for it for a minute now. They built a great program. And Michigan, man, Jim Harbaugh, man, you have to wonder
how many years he's got left there.
You have to wonder, what was the goal? Was the goal all season just to make the playoff?
Yeah.
Absolutely, they came into the season unranked, right? Am I correct in that?
I think they were on the verge. They were
they're definitely around the bottom, and they end up making the playoff, which is great. But the difference between Michigan and Georgia is it seemed like Michigan were happy to be there.
Yeah.
Georgia felt like they weren't done. Michigan felt like their accomplishment was getting there. Georgia was very much, we haven't earned anything yet. We don't have anything yet.
Chase says Harbaugh to Vegas.
Harbaugh to Vegas?
I wouldn't hate it.
That's a very Vegas hire.
Yeah.
That's a very Vegas hire. Kind of a risky guy, a lot of personality, kind of a big name head coach.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you think John Gruden for 10 years.
Let's
score predictions for Alabama versus Georgia.
This brings us into our next topic. Georgia, Bama. Score prediction, 2 great SEC teams going at it. Who do you got? You got Bama or Georgia?
I absolutely want Georgia to win.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to see Georgia win. I think if they did win, it would be 28-24.
Yeah.
My honest prediction, though, is probably 31-24 Bama.
I think I agree. As much as I hate to say it, I think Bama's going to win.
I think they are.
Because they're just, there's no weakness to them.
Yeah.
I mean, they got the Heisman. They got amazing weapons. I mean, Jamison Williams has played. I mean, he's like arguably better than Devontae Smith last year, and he's playing insane. Like, unplug that.
Ooh. I think that that's so distracting. I think that I've bet against Bama too many times to do it again.
Yeah.
So do you want to get into?
I'm gonna cut that segment out. I think
Alright.
that's pretty much it for this episode.
Yeah.
Had some good talks about the KCBL. All everybody does for it.
Yeah.
Some talks about coaches, college football playoff.
Yeah.
Trending topics, Antonio Brown, all that. So
Yeah, man.
thanks for watching. Follow Liam at.
You can find me at LBRS427 on basically everything. I'm not creative.
Yeah.
It is just my first initial, middle initial, last name, birthday.
And you can follow.
People seem to not get that that's my birthday. They think it's like trying to be different. Oh, he changed it. Like I had one person like, I thought it was like 24/7, but you moved it. No, it's my birthday. Find me on there. Find me on everything. Find me at the.kcbl on Instagram. On YouTube, it's just the KCBL. And on... Do we have something else? I feel we have something else. On Instagram, if you go into the bio, there's a website link in there. That will take you to the stats website where you can look at points per game, assists per game, rebounds per game. You can check every single score. You can check the standings. All of that will be on there, courtesy of Sam King, who we already shouted out. That dude has a big nose.
Yeah. Large schnoz.
Yeah, so.
Thanks for watching, guys. Like you said, follow
Prayers
KCBL,
up for Kiefer.
follow Liam. Zach will be back next week. He should be COVID-free by then. So next week we
Prayers up
have
for Kiefer, man.
we have Braden Slack and Tanner Burnett coming on next week to talk about some high school football.
High school football,
Yeah.
man. Yeah.
So tune in for that next week.
I'm excited.
Tuesday.
Excited. I watched the last podcast episode with you and you, Zach, Chase, and Austin. That was really good. I'm excited to see where this goes.
Well, thanks for coming out.
I'm excited to see the flag come in.
Yeah,
The
we have
flag.
a custom flag.
The flag's
that's,
coming in.
shipping.
Yeah.
So tune in for that next week, and I'll see y'all later.